So it's Labor Day, and I want to tell you exactly what the orange scumbag thinks about you. Thinks about all of us, really. I want to go back to June and read for you something that he posted on Truth Social. And by the way, as a quick aside, any of you working class people, especially, those of you, especially who are engaged in manual labor, physical labor, hard work, because we know, especially white men who fall into that category, overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. My God, you have got to be some of the dumbest people on the face of the earth to think that that guy represents you. What a joke. This guy who never worked a day in his life, who was given everything to him in life on a silver platter, literally hundreds of millions of dollars from his father. Anyway, I just, one day I hope that you wake up and realize how breathtakingly stupid you have been, that you have allowed yourself to be manipulated by this obvious con man. I should point out, look, I know what's going on with you guys. You either are stupid or you say you support him because you identify with him. He stands for the working man. You say that, but I think a lot of you support him because he hates the same people that you do. He has the same prejudices and hatreds against the same groups of people that you do. And that's why you support him. You're not going to come out and say that you're a racist piece of shit just like he is, but that's why you support him. Now, those of you who, not that there's many of those people watching this video anyway, but you get the point. But people who honestly believe that he represents the working class, those people are just friggin' stupid. Anyway, before I get to that Truth Social post, I would be remiss if I didn't comment on the elephant in the room. And that is that as of right now, since I just checked a little while ago, and I'm recording this mid-morning on Labor Day, last I checked, there still has been no proof of life, any kind of persuasive proof of life coming out of the White House to prove to us that either this guy is still among the living, or if he is, what his condition is. Because he apparently went golfing this weekend, although no pictures of him golfing. Pretty odd. Usually when he departs the White House on one of these golfing outings, he goes over to the press and says some stupid shit, insults some people before leaving. Nothing. He didn't allow the press to get anywhere near him. And the images that we were only given a couple of pictures. And we can't be for sure when those pictures were taken. And the pictures we did see, he doesn't look good. And there were some pictures going around of him on the golf course, basically from these right-wing MAGA accounts who are spoon-fed things from the White House. And it's the same pictures going around viral. And basically saying, suck it, libs, you thought he was dead. Look at him, here he is, like a champ on the golf course. Of course, there were pictures of him and video golfing surrounded by palm trees. But they told us he was golfing in Virginia. I don't know. Doesn't add up. Anyway, and then on top of it, the only thing we've seen really, other than that, have been some Truth Social posts. Well, that's not persuasive at all. We know for a fact multiple people use his account, post on his behalf. So just because somebody posts on Truth Social is not proof of life. And I'm sorry, but these Truth Social posts are quite suspicious. Here's what he wrote. I think this was last night. He wrote, quote, "Never felt better in my life. Also, DC is a crime-free zone. President DJT." First of all, you should usually assume that the exact opposite of whatever he says is true. So if he says never felt better in my life, then he's probably on death's door if he hasn't already crossed the threshold. That's number one. But number two, So that might be the best the best evidence yet that he's no longer with us, or that he's not doing very well if he is. But beyond that, he has posted other stuff, or his account has posted other stuff that just doesn't sound like him. It's not full of as many misspellings, not as many flagrant grammatical errors, a very limited use of all caps, not a lot of personal insults, or if there are, they don't sound like something he'd say. So here's an example. He wrote, what a few people, this is about India. He wrote, what few people understand is that we do very little business with India, but they do a tremendous amount of business with us. In other words, comma, they sell us massive amounts of goods, their biggest client, but we sell them very little. Until now, a total one-sided relationship, and it has been for many decades. And by the way, there's several, these are like actual sentences with periods, not his typical, huge paragraph full of one continual run-on sentence. And I said the comma because he's actually appropriately using punctuation, which is not like him. The reason is that India has charged us until now such high tariffs, the most of any country, that our businesses are unable to sell into India. It has been a totally one-sided disaster. Also, India buys most of its oil and military products from Russia, very little from the US, and on and on and on. Does that sound like the typical, and none of this is in all caps. And as I said, not a run-on sentence, no all caps, no personal insults. I mean, this is not typical. This is not the typical ranting and raving, and it wasn't just this post. Several of them are just like this. Few grammatical errors, few spelling errors, and on and on. Doesn't sound like him. So look, I don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on, because we're being lied to. And let's ask this question. If he was gone, or if he was, I don't know, say in a coma or something, would we know? Do you think that they would tell us? Maybe. But I think it's also completely believable that they would seek to hide this for as long as possible while they figure out what to do. They wouldn't play this straight up. I don't believe for a second they'd play this straight up. Anyway, just wanted to point that out, that we still don't have any real information on this. Now, getting to this post that he put on Truth Social, this was back in June. And he wrote, and this is, I think, relevant to today, Labor Day. He wrote, too many non-working holidays in America. It is costing our country billions of dollars to keep all these businesses closed. The workers don't want it either. We'll soon end up having a holiday for every once working day of the year. Okay, that doesn't make sense, but this because he actually wrote this. We'll soon end up having a holiday for every once working day of the year. It must change if we are going to make America great again. So according to Donald Trump, the champion of the working class, the problem in America is that you're not working hard enough. You have too many days off. That's what the president thinks. You don't work hard enough. Do you feel like that's the case? That you don't work hard enough? That you have too much downtime? You get too many days off? And I love how he just refers to people as workers. And he seeks to speak for the workers. The workers don't want it either, as if he knows what workers want. It just pisses me off. I don't like the way we talk about people in this country. Workers. Is that what we are? We're workers? Well, that's how he sees us. That's how our government sees us, for the most part. That's certainly how business sees us. We're workers. We're not people. So they don't give a shit about minimum wage. They don't give a shit about health benefits. They don't give a shit if you get any time off, that you want to have a life and spend it with your family. They don't give a shit. You exist to serve them. That's what the oligarch class thinks of you and me. And the oligarch class bought this presidency for Donald Trump. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's wrong with America. Too much free time. Too many days off. But it also is evidence of the fact that this guy's a blithering idiot, as I tell you all the time. So what does he say here? Too many non-working holidays in America. It is costing our country billions of dollars to keep all these businesses closed. Who's keeping the businesses closed? Just because there's a federal holiday doesn't mean businesses are closed. Okay, today's Labor Day. I can go to a store right now. Okay, there's no legal requirement that businesses be closed except for the government. Right? If you're a private business, you don't have to close. And there's a lot of people working today, I guarantee you. So, but he thinks that nobody works if there's a federal holiday, that businesses, I guess, are required to be closed. Guy's an idiot. He doesn't know. He never goes shopping. When was the last time you think Donald Trump was in a store and bought something for himself? He certainly doesn't know anything about working and getting time off, getting a holiday. He doesn't know how any of that works. But he's an idiot. He's an absolute freaking moron. And a lot of businesses are going to go, look, guys, just because there's a federal holiday, we're not going to close down. We have to make money. We're going to stay open. Moron. Absolute fucking idiot. Anyway, I guess, need to belabor the point. And by the way, last I checked also, very strange. It was about 10 o'clock last I checked his Truth Social feed, and there really wasn't anything. It was just a couple things like what I read to you. Not unhinged insanity. Normally on a holiday, no matter what the holiday is, actually the more important the holiday is to people personally, like religious holidays and so forth, like Easter, for example. He does the same thing on every holiday. Thanksgiving, Christmas, it really doesn't matter the holiday. So I was surprised I didn't see this yet. The way he acknowledges the holiday is to insult people. So today I would expect him to say something like, Happy Labor Day to all. Especially all the radical left lunatics who hate Trump and hate America, and, that kind of thing. And he'd go on for like just one huge, long, run-on sentence with all caps, insulting everybody as his holiday message. But last I checked, there was no such message. Again, odd. Anyway, the guy's a scumbag. But insofar as we might be looking at the possibility that this guy is no longer with us, or soon will not be with us, or one way or another will not be president, I'm going to do a video shortly about what comes next. If this guy were to kick the bucket, or if he were to be in a vegetative state. Now, if he were in a vegetative state, I don't think they'd tell us. I think they would just Stephen Miller and J.D. Vance and Russ Vought and those guys, they would just run the government using the auto pen to sign executive orders, right? Because that's what they told us. Biden's use of the auto pen meant that he wasn't really acting as president. He didn't know what the hell was going on. Well, this guy could be a vegetable right now. Not saying he is, but if he were, I guarantee you J.D. Vance and all of them would be pretending that he wasn't, pretending that he was live and well, keep putting out pictures from 3 years ago, feeding them to the right-wing MAGA accounts. Charlie Kirk would be posting pictures from 3 years ago and pretending that it was today. Anyway, so whether he kicks the bucket, he's drooling on himself in a vegetative state, or whether they actually pulled the trigger and invoked the 25th Amendment, whatever. I want to address those various circumstances, just so in case something like that does happen, y'all understand what comes next. Because people, I'm judging from a lot of things that I'm seeing out there in the media, especially on social media, a lot of people have a misunderstanding about presidential succession and what happens in the various situations, especially the 25th Amendment. People don't seem to understand that one at all. So I'm going to be doing a video about that. Also, he recently, a couple days ago, posted an executive order, or put a tweet out about an executive order that he was going to sign, dictating how elections are to be run in this country. Now, I don't know if that tweet actually, or that bleat, or that Truth Social post actually came from him, or J.D. Vance, or whoever else might have posted that. I want to address that because people don't understand how the law and the Constitution relate to that executive order. I'm going to discuss that too. So anyways, please look out for those things. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Let Let's keep our fingers crossed, huh? Anyway, thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon.